Morning Year 5. Now, this was going to be the planning lesson that went with Friday's writing task, but of course with school being closed on Friday, we'll bump that over to Monday today. So we're going to look back at the planning element, and then you can use this in conjunction with the writing lesson that was on YouTube on Friday. So, writing a story ending and using a range of descriptive techniques. Now, the planning and the storyboarding, if you remember I said, the most important part of the story is the plan. The better you plan, the better your writing. So we're going to look a little bit more at my storyboarding here to answer these key questions. So if we move over to the table, which has remained untouched since last week. So the big idea is when Geppetto enters the workshop, he is shocked. I'm going to move on from there. Why is he shocked? Well, everything was a mess, as if someone had ransacked the place like a pirate searching for gold. So I've used my subordination there as my conjunction, as if someone had ransacked the place. Carefully chosen vocabulary, ransacked, not just made a mess, but ransacked, gone through everything. And then there's a simile to help the reader understand what it might have been like a pirate searching for gold. Perhaps it was frantic, not caring about it, just wanting to find that thing. And then we can move on. So, describe the mess in detail. Right? Be specific. Don't just say it was a mess. Everything was a mess. Well, be specific. Describe the mess in detail. Use the five senses. What could he see, hear, smell? Was there a taste in the air? And then, how did the man feel or react? Did he say anything? What were his movements like? Did he do any actions? What was his body language like? How was he standing, for example? And then we said, like a pirate searching for gold. Well, what was it they were looking for? What were they searching for within the workshop? Or was it all as it seemed? Was something perhaps not what the first impression was? Was that the incorrect impression? Okay, so as I say, we're going up from that first idea. What he was shocked, why was he shocked, and then how are we going to describe that to the reader? And then we can look to the rest of the plan. So, after that first paragraph, that will be the more detailed one. Only one thing remained untouched. Remember, this is my plan, yours might be very different. And then what happened next? The focus of the next paragraph. Remember, each paragraph has a certain theme. His carefully carved creation, good expanded noun phrase there, sat atop the rusting anvil. Another noun phrase there, the rusting anvil. What happened next? Let's follow the arrow. Breathlessly, for an adverbial, he lowered his head and stared into the glassy eyes. What's next? It was like time had stopped. Simile. Deeper, deeper he looked. Remember, each of these can be expanded into a paragraph. And then finally, the ice blue eyes blinked. Father? Bit of a cliffhanger there to finish. So, just to recap, we had this first paragraph here. Now let's look at how this can be turned into a written paragraph. Okay? We move along to section here. Geppetto gasped. Shaking, he walked unsteadily into the workshop. Like a drum, his heart beat inside his chest. It thudded and thumped up into his throat as he took in the shocking sight. Remember, this is the sight, the shock from that plan. Everything was a mess, as if someone had ransacked the place like a pirate searching for gold. Items lay strewn across the floor, crates were overturned, and drawers had been emptied. Dust, which hung in the air, stung Geppetto's eyes. Who could have done this? The room had been locked. The windows were closed. There was no other way in. Only one thing remained untouched. It's not possible, he muttered breathlessly to himself. It can't be. Okay, so let's just look at a few details in here. So we had this idea of him being shocked. Well, I haven't just said he's shocked. Called it a shocking sight. Now, how can we show he's shocked? Well, he gasped, he was shaking, he walked unsteadily. His heart was beating in his chest, thudding and thumping. Okay, so I haven't just said that he was shocked. I've shown the reader by his actions, by his body language. And then this next one, everything was a mess, all right? And we said describe the mess in detail. Well, items strewn across the floor, like they've been thrown there. Crates are overturned and drawers have been emptied. Dust, remember we said, what can he feel, what can he smell, what can he see? We would see the dust, maybe smell the dust in the air as well, but he can feel it stinging his eyes. I've got my relative clause here as well, dust, which hung in the air. Got my commas there to show it's a relative clause, and I've got my relative pronoun, which. Then what other skills we've got? Well, we've got a question. Who could have done this? You include a question in your writing, it makes the reader think about what the answer could be. The room had been locked, the windows were closed, there was no other way in. Bit of repetition there. Power of 3. Only one thing remained untouched. It's not possible, he muttered breathlessly as an adverbial there. It can't be. So to recap then, that section there, only one thing remained untouched, this was the next part of the storyboard. So I can do with each of these parts of the storyboard, I can do as I've done on that piece of paper there and turn them into a paragraph. Using the skills on your sheet and trying to include all of those things. Expanded noun phrases, front adverbials, similes, using those descriptive techniques that we worked on last week and putting them into a piece of writing. Now, on your assignments page on Teams, there is the writing task for today. Remember this planning video and the previous lessons video can be used to help. There are also other resources on your website page and on Teams. Good luck, and I'm really looking forward to seeing this writing.